They're. Oh,
All right. Good evening, everyone. It's 5 o'clock. Welcome to the Sister City Committee meeting, Thursday, June 18th, 2026. First off, we'll take attendance. We have Ben Van Camp, Mary Carey Foley. We have Stephanie Secord, Christine Fries, and Jerry Rich Blaylock. I don't know if we're saying Bob Sullivan and Robert Kennard. We hope they're well.
Having fun, gonna be able to make it.
Yes. All right, first off, we have review and approved past minutes from the April meeting. We have copies here if anyone would like to review them. But I'd entertain a motion to approve and place on file. Approve the minutes.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Next up, number 2, we have old business. We have update on a correspondence with Hungary.
So we got, this month, we got another email from our friends in Hungary asking if we could set up an online meeting referring to their letter. If we could at least have a Zoom meeting with them to see what's what.
Yeah. I definitely would entertain, I don't know if the members of the committee wanted to join the Zoom or be part of it. I just thought we should discuss it as a
It's
group.
not a big, yeah.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. I'm just communicating, you know what I mean? There's no, but I wanted to at least bring it before the group to see if we wanted to schedule a Zoom so everyone could be there, you know, or if.
So they're 6 hours ahead of us. We couldn't do it at our 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
Definitely. Want to suggest a little earlier in the day, but
And last meeting, we had discussed and I had volunteered to send them a stay tuned kind of letter,
Yep.
which never happened. So
we could answer this one
it
and say.
seems like it's worth hearing from
Yeah,
them, because
yeah.
we really don't know anything, and it's been, I mean, the reason for sending them a let's hold off was the election. So they've had a little bit more time to understand the dynamics, I
Yep.
would guess, and yeah, sure, certainly.
So shall I write back and say, we're looking, yes, we'd love to have a Zoom meeting and ask like
Yeah, I think-
days and times in a couple weeks
After.
after the 4th?
You guys have any?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's fine.
yeah.
I would say schedule it when you two are kind of available, and if others can join in, great, but I think trying to find,
Us and them, yeah.
yeah, them and us and,
Hard enough.
yeah, it's hard enough, so
Yeah,
I'd hate to bog it down by trying to get, you know, 100% attendance.
think that was the head.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, something like 6 hours ahead, I'm trying to think. There,
So 9 o'clock here, 3 o'clock there,
yeah.
8 o'clock, 2 o'clock, I could,
Those-
how early how early in the day are you free?
Oh, I can get up
is
early
bad
as-
For you, isn't it? In
I
the
could,
summer.
yeah, I mean, I can get up as early as, you know what I mean? They want me to,
So
but
like I could say like 8 AM, 9 AM, 10 AM our time,
yeah,
and what days?
yeah. Yeah, I'm much more flexible.
Okay. Okay.
And hopefully it'll be weekday.
And I'll just copy everybody, and then when you see the dates, if you can come. Super.
All right, awesome. And they seem to be very, this is what the 3rd time they've
Yeah.
reached out on the last, so.
They invited us over there. Not there
Yes,
this
yeah.
month.
Right,
Tulip tree
yeah.
ceremony.
Let's talk.
All right, next up, we have update on Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Got nothing.
I reached out to the mayor. He just reaffirmed that Senator Shaheen wants us, you know, to have a relationship with our cities. But I don't think there has been any further correspondence between the mayors. Bob did make that motion to take a self-funded trip. I know he's not here tonight. You know, I just mentioned to him, like, we should try to figure out who, you know, who's going with them or who's, you know, and then we can at least try to think about scheduling it.
Yeah, talk to the mayor's office. and-
Yeah, let them know and make sure.
Themselves.
Right, yeah, yeah, just show up.
We're here.
So sometimes that works.
So
But thoughts on, yeah,
I don't, I mean, I think it's great. I don't. You can tell me to keep it in confidence, but I happened to be over at the port today and talked to the port director. And
Recording.
yeah, I know.
Yeah, okay.
That concept of the shuttle is still
okay,
at
cool.
least in conversation.
Yeah,
I think that's a fair statement to say without breaking any confidences.
Okay, yeah.
So I thought it was kind of done also, but he said they're still discussing it and there's still opportunity there. So I don't know the likelihood or not, but it's still in conversation.
good to hear.
But that would be next year at earliest, right?
Yeah.
But like that could be, when we do reach out to the mayor, and it's like, hey, we're interested, we'd like to plan a visit, we'd love to come see you. When's a good time? But we could mention, this possibility of the shuttle, this relationship, and trying to be friendship, we're just trying to be
Yeah,
better.
and it's staying,
That
it's
Stephanie found.
Yeah.
staying in sync with whatever the Port Authority, is doing so that we're not at cross purposes, just
Yeah.
so we, without
Yep.
telling them their agenda, at least so we know and don't
Yeah, I mean,
go a bridge too far.
and the port director may wanna come with, you
Yeah.
never know.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Road trip. Okay.
Is it Richard Hartley?
Yeah.
Yeah,
great.
yeah, I'm good friends with him. His wife used to work at the Fair Lending. I think he might too. All right, and yeah, and just to think about, again, on the Halifax, think about ideas of why we should be friends. The history is obviously very, very important. But supporting each other's economies. I don't know, I was looking up like sports and stuff. I know, there's talk of our trying to get a soccer team and P's and stuff like that, but I was like, oh, they have like the 7th ranked premier Canadian team. You know what I mean? They're serious. Yeah, yeah. They have a hockey team, they have a soccer team, I didn't see basketball, but I know they play basketball and stuff up there. And then obviously the sailing and water sports.
I should check again to see if there are any particular Halifax anniversaries coming up that
Mhm.
we could go to. Say congratulations or whatever.
They do have lots of cool
We
events.
stay.
Yeah, they do have lots of cool events. It seems like they're mostly focused in the summer, but they have like all these like international events and
Cause he was talking about
Something called
that regatta, that world,
Yeah.
what used to be the Whitbread race that was coming to Halifax was one of the stops. And then I think they went to Boston. So, yeah, and it would be great if we could theoretically get boats here, but I think that would be challenging to sail up the river as well. But anyway, I will check that out before our next.
but yeah, like they have a Royal Nova Scotia International Tattoo, a premier week-long summer spectacle, military exhibits,
It's where the
historical
Scots
medley.
go after the World Cup.
Yeah. Yeah, they have a music festival, a jazz festival, a kite festival, Halifax Jollof Festival. I don't know like African culture.
Do we?
Great Outdoors Comedy Festival, a cider beer festival.
We do.
They have lots of.
Prescott Park, the summer thing, yeah,
Yeah,
they just announced it the other day.
cause it would be interesting to partner with jazz festivals.
Uh-oh. What's coming?
But
Okay.
I think it's
Severe
here.
thunderstorm.
Yeah.
Tree is moving over. Uh-oh.
All right, anything else on Halifax?
So do we want Stephanie to draft a potential letter to the mayor and then we could, when you get that, we could see where the port is and
Yeah.
talk to our mayor and.
Yeah,
say,
just so we
"Are you
have
gonna
something
do
to
this.
look at.
Yeah.
That tree.
And we share
see.
Portsmouth. Uh-oh,
Golf clubs outside.
lots of lights flashing. Nice.
I'm not driving.
Right, yeah, we could sit here for a couple hours.
Yeah.
Okay. And they go fast.
Yeah, I think that's a good first step. And then, wait,
Oops. There went the electricity.
All right, yeah. Bye,
So
everyone.
everything or, yeah, we're on.
We're on a generator.
We're on a generator.
Yep.
Cool.
Very-
Okay, well, so much for our recording.
Okay, now we can say whatever the heck we want.
Yeah.
Bummer.
It's time to get there. Where's the basement? How do we get there?
That's the morgue.
Well, that was
We're pretty safe.
Yes,
Might be a cool
definitely, yeah.
find it too.
There's plenty of room down there.
earlier
There's
in the day
pubs
when
and
it was a
everything.
tornado. It's like, we don't.
Well, that's fun.
It's pretty.
Well, before it comes back on, I worked Walter Wakefield Services this morning at J. Vern Wood. And there were approximately 30 people, which I thought was pretty good. At J. Vern Wood, 30 people for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are.
All right. I guess I will. Should that come from, I mean, it's, what we've been talking about is a comment interest from the committee rather than having it come from Declan to the mayor. I think it's taking it on ourselves to have a
Right.
delegation.
Yeah.
Agreed. I just wanted him to know about like
Yes.
what we were writing to them, and
Yes, absolutely.
we're not gonna sign anything for him or
Yeah,
commit him to anything.
Okay.
All right, next we have the update on the Sister City Fund.
So, I have the letter that we talked about last time. Draft. Was there a change to this, Stephanie? Was there a?
I don't think so.
I thought
think
this was, can I give it to you to look at and see if it's
Yeah.
if what I have is the,
necessarily remember.
Um,
off the top of my
and
head,
I
but-
don't know the next multiple steps. So I have one of these funds at the library, but I wasn't around when it was started.
So
So I
what we
don't,
were talking about is that Councilor Blaylock needs to present this concept to the city council so that they're aware that it's being set up. Because all kinds of money of any kind need, even a $5 donation needs to go to the council first.
Right.
So it's just that it's not asking permission.
right.
It's telling them that this is
Setting
what
up
we're
a new,
doing.
so I'm meeting with Michael Tucker on Monday, and I'll mention to him, like, what are the other things that have to happen?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
is this
He
the
should
right
know the
time
process, yeah.
to put it on the agenda? Or is there something that has to happen in finance
Yeah, because
first?
I would think that this would be an informational item. Again, we don't need the council to review and approve.
Right.
Just,
Or
we will be setting up. Yeah.
do we need the city manager to review and approve?
Again, I don't know. I have like 4 of these funds,
Just send it to her.
but I don't know when
Well,
they set up.
because she needs to make the decision as to whether to accept a donation that comes with one of these letters. It seems to me that it would be logical because she likes to review this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I would think the next thing would be to send it in draft form to her. And then once she's made whatever tweaks she wants, then it can be part of the packet for you to take to council.
Okay.
So that means July meeting.
Yeah. I will not be at the July meeting, but yeah. Doesn't matter, still be in the, it can still be in the
Mary
agenda.
has checks burning holes in her pocket.
I know.
So I'll check.
If something happened to me, I worry about all the time now. I want to be sure I have that done.
No striking by lightning.
So if you tell me that that's the right version,
Yeah.
I'll send that to Karen and tell her we're talking to finance and
Think what, if anything?
working on timing.
There was a couple little like grammatical.
That's what I
things.
thought.
We approved it with the changes as discussed or something.
just
like
don't
that.
think- I don't-
remember what they were at this point.
And I don't know if this one is the one that had the grammatical changes, so. You
Because
could
it was
just,
like
But I can
we
certainly
added
add
something
anything to the agenda,
list.
even if I'm not gonna be there, you know what I mean?
Oh,
I
okay.
can,
I think,
cause it's not like they're voting on it, right?
Right.
right.
And it'd be like heads up, in the future, we're gonna be getting donations.
Okay.
Could be through the city managers.
It could be.
Stuff.
on-
Yeah, informational
it could
items.
be-
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's coming from her office, right?
Yeah.
That's what we just said.
Right, well, she needs to approve definitely,
I
finance
think
needs to say
so.
we're ready to go.
yeah, But
And then we can put it on the agenda.
I will check my electronic versions of things and just whatever the date is, the latest date, make sure
Yeah.
you have that.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Because I think it's gonna be around April. I think it was.
Yeah,
maybe March
because
or
that was the
something.
last time we met.
So that's next business for.
No, I got asked to coach this all-star team and I'm like, yeah, it's awesome.
The 11-year-old.
There's a game on the one meeting in July and I'm like, I'm really like, it's like in Bedford or something. And yeah,
Maybe
or
it
Salem.
won't be raining.
Yeah. All right, so new business. We have a letter from PHS alumni.
Yeah, I wanted to read this to you. It went to the mayor, and I don't know if that's really recording. I left it there, but I'm not gonna say the name of the person. But I will start with the next line, which is, I'm a Portsmouth High School alumnus, class of I also won't say for privacy. Currently a captain in the Air Force. And not taking out any private stuff. Writing to you to share a brief story with you about how our sister city relationship with Nichinan in Miyazaki, Japan has impacted me. When I was around 15 years old, I had the honor and privilege of both hosting a Japanese student as well as visiting their family the next year in Japan, being part of the first delegation from Portsmouth in 10 years at the time. In the following years, I hosted 2 more Japanese students and a couple of teachers. This opportunity was life-changing for me and not only opened my eyes to Eastern culture, but also allowed me to establish friendships that I have maintained since then with these students and their families. While I had kept in contact with my friends in Nichinan sporadically over the past 14 years, I had never had the opportunity nor the logistics to be able to make another trip to Miyazaki. However, thanks in large part to my original Japanese homestay sister, I was finally able to visit Nichinan and reunite with my host family 10 days ago. So this is last month. During my solo trip to Nichinan, among other things that I did, I was invited to tour Nichinan Gakuen, our sister school with which Portsmouth does its Japanese homestay, and taught several English classes. The children at the school were all incredibly enthusiastic and seemed to truly enjoy having such a rare opportunity to ask this strange American that randomly showed up things like, what's your favorite anime? What's your favorite food? How much can you bench press in kilos? Needless to say, we had a great time. I also had tea with the principal, who had remembered me from so long ago. We exchanged pleasantries, shared old stories, and caught each other up on how life has been. Outside of that, I reunited with many old friends and was treated like family even after so much time had passed without seeing each other. I love Portsmouth, I love Nichinan, and I'm forever grateful for the Homestay Exchange program and the sister city relationship that our cities share. Because of it, I have a second family on the opposite side of the world, that welcomes me as an extended family member and relationships that will undoubtedly last me for the rest of my life. I hope that many future generations of students from Portsmouth and Nichinan will continue to experience this program and potentially have the blessing that I have had to be able to form such a deep connection with people from across the world.
Wow.
Thank you for taking the time to read my letter, and thank you to you and your office for continuing to support the sister city relationship.
Excellent.
So I'll ask his permission to put it in our files since they would be potentially public.
Yeah, that's.
No, when you get stuff like that, I think reaffirms what we're doing. And,
Yeah, for
you know,
sure.
sometimes it feels like we're not moving or something, but
Operating in a vacuum.
keeping this relationship, the fact that we made this a permanent committee. Yeah.
Would mean something to people.
Yeah, and it does, changes lives and creates relationships that and I'll build it.
Yeah.
I will share that at the high school graduation, the valedictorian, this gives a speech and all he talked about was his trip to Nichinan and that the whole point of his speech was he was like, I just went on a run with my host family and I'm just running, and it's just like was worried about like what time to get up and like, stretching and just worried about what I was getting out of my run. And then all of a sudden I looked up and I'm running in the forest, like in Nichinan, Japan. And he just had this like, be present, like, yeah. Like what I'm all worried about like my, what shoes I'm wearing. And he's like, and he's like, what am I doing? You know, and he was just, it was cool. And then, yeah, and then I guess he got to help, wherever they have field spirits, they have sacred ropes. And he got to, his family was in charge of replacing the ropes or maintaining the ropes. And he got to actually like partake in that. It doesn't happen often. I don't think it's a very
The
experience.
shrine, there's a major shrine right near Nishinon that supposedly was where the emperor was born, was beatifically
Yeah.
brought to earth. And so there's a giant shrine there. I bet that's where it was.
Yeah,
So cool.
That's cool,
That is
yeah. And I, you know, even the kids, I just took one of the high schoolers, golfing this morning and. Yeah, you bring up sister cities and they just light up. They're like, Sonic Contra, did she not? Like, I love that, you know, that we are introducing cool things to
Yeah.
them and expanding their,
Opportunities.
yeah, expanding how they think.
Yes, amazing.
Um,
So, I
yeah,
wasn't sure, as Rich and I were talking about earlier, I wasn't sure when we might see Steve Canosi, which is why I brought these things
Yep.
to give him. And you had mentioned he might be able to come to this, and then the new principal, which is where I'm going.
And I didn't
have
hear
to
back from him.
another one. So at some point in the future, we should formally invite the new principal.
yeah,
Yeah, and they said he's here. We could do that right now. Like I could do that Monday for next month, so he has enough time.
Yeah, I think that would be good, because hearing both that letter and, I mean, I assume he was at the graduation as the transition, or was it just Steve?
I didn't see him.
He might not have been, he might
I
have.
think it's
been-
July 1st.
Might have let
And I haven't met him yet either, so.
I'm due to reconnect with him, so if you want me to make that message, I'm gonna be reaching out anyways, so, but if you wanna do it, that's fine.
Up to you. I don't have a problem.
Alright, I'll
You're-
pick it.
I'll do
They're
that.
connecting, having another voice from the committee.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'm anxious. You know, important to keep the high school part of this,
Mhm.
you know, going. I think that's a really integral part as we see from the letter,
Agreed. Yep.
you know.
And he was just named high school principal of the year, right? Or high school
Yes,
vice principal, whatever he was in his previous job.
vice principal.
Okay, yeah. Very cool. So a go-getter, all right. Okay,
Next up, we have requests for photos from Sister Cities International.
So as I think we've discussed before, Sister Cities International has its 70th anniversary this summer in DC. And they sent out a request for, and did you see this letter?
I did, yes, thank you.
Scheme. So they asked for us to submit pictures. There's an online form, which I'm happy to do, but these are the ones that I've pulled
Yeah.
kind of quickly from my files. Sant'Arcangelo and Nishinon, and kind of supplementing that, I'll pass this around. This is the Japanese group of sister cities put together the Hajimari project, which is the origin story for the 60th anniversary, maybe, of Japanese relationships. So I submitted on behalf of Japan America Society on where we are. Page 38 and 39. So we have a whole thing on Portsmouth. I will let you guys look at this, and then Christine, if you would like this for your special collections, they sent me two, so I have one for
Love
the
it.
Japan Society.
I'm gonna send you, I don't know if you need any more. Just for
Yeah,
your
if there
records.
are others that you think are better, whatever.
No, I'm gonna send you the pictures of Mary Carey and our visitors from Carrick Fergus.
Great, yes. So I don't know if, my sense was that they were happy to get as many as we wanted to send, so.
Mhm.
This is kind of a.
No, when you
collective-
mentioned that, I was like, I hope she's got that one. Yeah. I just remember.
Yeah, that was a great picture.
Yeah,
Thank you, Karina.
yeah, fantastic.
It is, this just flipping through this book, it's kind of in a different class here, you know, this is San Francisco and, you know, much larger communities than little old Portsmouth here, you know.
We're the oldest.
Or the
We're
old,
older.
Sure,
San
sure.
Francisco, that's like.
Yeah.
state.
they're celebrating like what,
Yeah,
150 or?
Yeah, like newborn. Youngsters. They're teenager. All relative, right?
Yeah, so it's the same as the
Many times.
reminding the mayor and talking to the principal about what this means. This, as we all keep talking about, this is in Bensford. We're in a different class. Our particular, the Sant'Arcangelo and the Nishinan relationship. And Carrickfergus, I mean, we've got John Paul Jones and the Carrickfergus relationship.
Yeah.
So they're deep and important historical connections beyond somebody deciding, like we have had inquiries, even our Hungarian friends. We have had inquiries to be a sister city in France or
Yeah.
which is a wonderful thing to do if there's a group here to support it. But these particular relationships we have are really quite extraordinary.
Yeah.
That's why we're all here.
Yeah. I agree.
Punch above our weight.
Does anyone have anything else? Any other business?
Those are my two things.
My only other thing to bring up was I saw the article in Seacoast Online about the Von Mall and the
Yes,
art
Yes.
that is connected to all this effort, and I just didn't know if who's taking that project on. Is that Public Art Review? Is it Arts and Culture? Is it us? Is there an opportunity there to tell the story of the relationship? Is there, like, when it's installed, is there like a joint event kind of thing that we can
Yes.
celebrate its installation? And, you know, I just think that's a moment in time where we can shine a light on some of the
think
this relationship that we
you're
want to
right.
capitalize.
And I
absolutely.
think it should be us. I think Park had this,
No, you're right.
where is it placed?
Yeah, so they've done their.
But
Yeah.
now that
Now
it's
it's back
been,
to us.
it is, I mean.
In terms of
us
what
and
you're talking
Public
about,
Works, yes, but in terms of what you're talking about.
Yeah.
DPW is responsible now, lucky them, for installing it and the
But for
posts put it
communicating?
on, but.
But yeah, but like, I agree. That's a good, no, you're right. This is a pretty.
Because, you know, if someone's
With
just
Park.
walking through, and they see it, you know, I think there's an opportunity to share a story about our connection and why is there Italian art in downtown Portsmouth?
I think we
People
talked
aren't
about,
used.
Park talked about having a plaque that would explain,
Mhm.
you know, like what it was.
Yeah, like
Um,
the other signage they have, there's a plaque sign.
There's that, and then also the ribbon cutting, you know what I mean? Like whenever the ribbon cutting, that'll be an opportunity to.
Hopefully with
Invite-
Tiziano and the Mayor Sacchetti.
I don't
It's
recall
tense,
the article.
isn't-
What is the timing
Yeah.
on that? Is that
Not
fall or
till
is it?
Von Mall is done. And the landscaping, I mean, I guess they have to put up the lights before they do the landscaping. I would want to.
The putting up the poles, yeah,
Poles,
that's all
yeah.
part of like the installation of the landscape
But it-
architecture, I guess, with Terrence
It's-
Parker.
Yes. But it still has to be, the artwork has to be fabricated and gotten here. So I think we're looking at least a year out.
Oh,
Isn't that what Peter said? Suggested?
Yeah, and I was just thinking, we're having a Von Mall meeting Monday night at the library. I could go to that and see if it's brought up. But also,
there is. I don't know anything about that.
give me a second.
Yeah, I can
Is
see
that,
that.
is that Monday?
Yeah. It's a city.
Um, But I could also write to the mayor and Tiziano and let them know that we passed this other.
Yeah,
I think they,
it's been approved, it's gonna go up.
yeah, I mean, I think they got that definite sense when they were here, but I think
They may
it's
be
good
saying
to
the same
keep
thing,
them
like, where are we?
posted on, how the project is advancing, and when we get closer to knowing that it's gonna be up, we can schedule an event, and hopefully we will give them enough notice that they can join us.
Mhm.
The other aspect
thing
of
to remember.
this whole gift, that I thought this committee could think about is, Christine Dwyer, when she, mentioned from the park and everything, she's like, I anticipate that they are expecting a reciprocal gift. So like this committee, yeah. Not, what I mean, knowing the relationship or whatever, I just think that, it wouldn't hurt for us to brainstorm just like ideas. Not that it's gonna come from us, you know what I mean? It'll probably come from the
I
mayor.
think thinking about,
Yeah, and I wouldn't,
But I had always kind of thought that, and she kind of confirmed my thoughts in real time public.
I think because the way this came up was it wasn't the first, but it was the delegation with the mayor who came last year. And he came to sit down for a meeting with Declan and said, we'd like to work together. We have this film festival that we'd like to expand to Portsmouth, working with UNH as they did. And oh, by the way, we would like to present you hereby with this gift of the lighted artwork. So I think if we had some kind of delegation going there, some gift like that would make sense to present when we're in their city, something
Yes.
for their city. But you've been to Santa Conchalo, I haven't. I don't know what would.
I think,
You should give them a statue.
like a direct exchange is not what would be expected, but that we would
Something.
recognize
Yeah,
when it was an appropriate time, and as you say, if we've got a delegation going over there, yes, and I don't know what the appropriate.
I think brainstorming is a
Not
really
the
good
same
idea.
thing, yeah.
no,
I
not,
mean, not even necessarily an art installment, like.
Yeah.
That's, I'm
Something
assuming
in a
that
book.
what's coming here is kind of something that you would see on the streets there, is
Yeah.
that true?
Yeah,
So I think something reciprocal of something you would see on the streets here could go there. I don't know what that is.
it could be like a lamppost, you know what I mean, like a historic. I'm just, bad example. It could be American fire,
fire hydrant,
yeah.
there you go.
No. I'm spitballing here. A tugboat.
No,
You
but I
give 'em a
like that
tugboat.
idea, yeah.
Yeah, but we have, yeah, we can think about that.
Decommissioned tugboat.
Is the, well, we're at above our skis, over our skis a little bit here, we have our activities that can help us.
Gotta set parameters and stuff.
Ah, jeez.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's Nancy Pearson and all those.
yeah.
Yeah.
But no, if we get time, if we have like a year, but it would be good to hear from Pierre Rice, I guess, at least like, is it
Schedule.
gonna be a year? Yeah. We can be aware, have that on our radar. But I do think it's a great opportunity to celebrate this and to explain the relationship and
Yeah.
inform, celebrate.
I'm actually thinking that maybe they're gonna finish or do the landscape work started anyway, this fall. It's that soon.
That was my
It's gonna
understanding as
be
well. I don't know if the
finished.
timeline changed, but that was what was.
Yeah, that's,
Maybe next spring.
Yeah.
Be a good time for.
but we should definitely
Right,
let
let's
them
make sure.
know.
Yeah, if you can let me know
It's-
what you hear from Peter.
Yeah,
I can
start-
give them like, even if it's broad, like
Yeah,
we're thinking
start on your-
2027 or something would be
Yeah.
good.
Okay. Oh, I love that. Okay, it's so much lighter.
All right.
This back.
So I made buddies. Here you may have the envelope with the book.
There's a piece
It's at night.
but most of.
Be raining when you go out.
Who knows? Thank you.
All right, anything else? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn,
So moved.
second? All in favor?
I
Aye, thank you. Have a good one.